Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and here to give you a solid 3TR game review. This time I'm giving you my initial thoughts on the somewhat newly released, I think this has been out for a little bit while, of Berserk and the Ban of the Hawks. Now, due to the nature of my current situation and the amount of games I have to play and review, I decided that for this particular game, I wasn't going to do my standard style of game review. I just kind of wanted to give you just a raw, uncut initial thoughts on how I felt about this game. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is basically just a open standard hack and slash game from the developers of the Dynasty Warriors series, as well as last year's Attack on Titan game, which I very much enjoyed. And it pretty much goes over I'd say probably the first season of the anime series and possibly some of the second season, which is coming up soon. And you play as a character named Guts, and he's basically a mercenary that pretty much goes around and pretty much hacks everything in his path to death with his gigantic sword. There's a little bit more into the story, which if you haven't seen the anime, I would highly recommend you do. But for the most part, as a hack and slash title like this, that's really all you need to know going into it. Now, my initial thoughts on this game is that if I could describe it with one word, it would be cheap. This is a very, very cheap game, and you can kind of tell how the developers really didn't put much effort. I mean, they've pretty much established what type of game this is from their Dynasty Warriors series. If I could really describe this, this is pretty much a watered-down version of Dynasty Warriors with a Berserk paint job. This game is so repetitive, it is downright criminal. There is 46 missions in this game, making it way longer than it needs to be. And I know people could say that all games are repetitive because you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again, but I'm telling you, you feel its length. You are literally doing the same thing over and over again. You're just killing everything on the screen. It will say, go to this area, kill these many enemies. Go here, kill the specific target. Sometimes, back to back to back, you're doing it on the exact same map. The only difference is that between chapters, you get like a little cutscene. Now, I'd say that for the first half of this game, what they do is, instead of giving you a cutscene, they'll pretty much play a clip from the animated film that came out based off of the Berserk anime show. And I thought that was even cheaper because I'm telling you, the length of these missions is so inconsistent because some missions are literally 3 or 4 minutes long and some missions are like 20 to 25 minutes long. And in between, they'll throw in like a 10, maybe sometimes even 15-minute clip, which I thought was completely insane. Another thing that I really didn't like is the variety of characters. Now, you can choose to play as different characters from the Berserk anime show, but most of them don't really feel too different. They have certain special abilities and they play a little bit different, but for the most part, you're just doing the same thing. Now, there are somewhat a good amount of variety of enemies, from basic knights to demons to, if you can believe this, giant walking, talking alligator monsters, but they all go down just as easily as anyone else. Now, there are a few bosses thrown in the mix, but they aren't really that difficult once you get the death blow power ability attached to your characters, which pretty much allows you to build up your attack gauge, and then you can unleash this devastating attack that pretty much wipes out everybody on the screen. Now, as I said before, this has 46 chapters, and you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. Now, once you're done playing the initial campaign, which if you manage to get through it, you deserve a hug because this took me days to do. There are a couple of little side game modes that you can try out that pretty much have you doing the same thing over and over again, but it's kind of like an infinite level of horde mode, or something like the Devil's Tower from the Devil May Cry series that pretty much just has you taking on waves and waves of enemies, but there really isn't much of a payoff from that point on. There is a perk system that allows you to level up your character, so it does have some RPG elements thrown into the mix, but overall it just has the bare minimum of what you would expect from a hack and slash title like this. My biggest issue with this is that it fits, the gameplay fits the anime. I would expect an anime like this to be a hack and slash, so in that sake, it does work. The problem is that they just kept it so watered down that if you can't give me like enough variation in your gameplay at least try to tell the story in a very interesting way. And even after they finished like the first half and they go into, I believe, the second season, I don't even think it told that particular part of the story very well. I mean, even the cutscenes were not even all that interesting. I mean, when they ran out of footage because the animated film didn't go that far, I thought that the cutscenes that they ended up doing by themselves were very cheap. And the fact that there are no English, there is no English dub, which was something I was kind of pissed off about in last year's Attack on Titan, but I kind of let it go saying don't do it again. But they do it again here, and I was just very upset. Now, don't get me wrong, I watch anime, so I don't mind reading subtitles, but it's just the fact that they didn't even attempt to add an English dub that kind of pisses me off. So overall, I think that Berserk and A Band of the Hawks is a very cheap, watered-down version of Dynasty Warriors. This is certainly not worth $60. It's damn sure not even worth $40. I would say that if you're really interested and you don't feel like watching the Berserk anime, because I do believe that the second season is coming out, or don't feel like watching any of the animated movies, then I would say rent this from GameFly or any other, or a friend that you may know that may has it, but certainly do not spend your hard-earned money paying full price for this, because it's not worth it. If I had to give Berserk and the Band of the Hawks a rating, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. This is just the quintessential rental hack and slash game. Pick it up, play it for a weekend, and return it. Move on to a better game. If you like this little quick uncut game review of mine, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check out my future game reviews. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.